Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Want to pop in today, Sunday sermon. Really talk to you, still focusing on having a pure heart and where are you operating from. I made a tweet that said, "A pure heart has never failed me. You reap what you sow." And I think a lot of times when people hear that, they take and they apply it to every situation. And we'll say, well, oh, what about someone who this happened to? Were they reaping what they sowed? And that may not be what you have to realize is not every act that happens to you in life is something that's happening to you. Some things are happening for you. And yes, it happened to you, but then it happens for you. Not everything that happens to you in life is a direct result of something that you have done. But see, what's happening is it's that person that hurt you, it's what they are sowing. And what they reap is going to be far greater if what they have sown has done you harm. So what you have to realize, it's not in that moment about you. It's not about this being a consequence of you being a bad person. This being a consequence of something you have done. But what you have to realize is if it happens to you, you cannot change that. Once it has happened, it has happened. Now, what you can control is how you respond to it. And see, we have to be careful when we go into a victim mentality and when we want to spend time in that space of being a victim. And what I've noticed is that so many people weaponize their victimhood and they really no longer care about healing and growing. But they say, hey, I've been raped, so I'm gonna treat you like this. Hey, I've been abused, so I'm gonna treat you like this. I get the right to hate you. I get the right to curse you out. I get the right to question you because this happened to me. Hey, I've been abandoned, so this is what I'm gonna do to you. And that's where we hear hurt people hurt people. And you have to be very careful with that because although it has happened to you, what you have to realize is every single person has a unique story to tell of something that has happened to them. And no one person can say what I have gone through is way worse than what you have gone through because I may not know what the next person has gone through. And I may never tell every single thing that I have gone through. And so each person is carrying something. And this is where you have to decide. Am I going to carry this for the rest of my life? Or am I going to cast my cares on the Lord? Am I going to entrust my pain, my hurt, my victimhood? Am I going to entrust that to God and say, hey, you take this away from me, wash me, make me whole, make me new, wash me clean? You have a choice. Or do you choose to remain a victim? See, when it happens to you, you're a victim. When you overcome it and you shift and you change it, and you move it into a place of, you know what? This happened to me and I'm still breathing. So now that I'm breathing, I realize somebody is lying down in a fetal position ready to give up. So while I have breath in my body, I'm going to teach from my brokenness, from my pain. I'm going to get a lesson from it. From the mess that I was in, I'm going to turn that mess into a message. And if I have to put it on a 3x5 card, get it designed and printed up and just hand it out to every person I walk by, not knowing who is in a struggle and who that card with that affirmation that was birthed from my experiences, who that will touch and whose life it will change. Who will receive that card with that affirmation of overcoming will look at my email or my phone number and contact me and say, hey, the card that you handed me in the parking lot of the grocery store, I needed that. I was going to take my life that night, but because you handed me that card, it was a sign to me from God to keep going, to stay in the fight. And now, thanks to you, I'm going to use what has happened to me to help somebody else. Because you saved my life, now I'm going to save another life. I'm paying it forward. So you see what I mean? You come to a place in your life where you get to remain a victim and you get to weaponize your victimhood and use it for sympathy, for favors, for grace and mercy from mankind. And you'll see this. You will see people who they were hurt, but they were not broken. It did not break them. But instead of turning it into good, they turn it into bad. And they will go to every person and they will wear it on their forehead. Some will even embellish it and exaggerate and add some extra to it, because the sympathy that they receive to get something free or to get an opportunity or for something else to happen, that is what I mean by using that to their advantage. And then it may be somebody right next to them who's truly hurting, who truly is still feeling. And they see this other person who is misusing their past pain to get an advantage in society. And they're sitting there just trying to figure out how can they get back up and become whole and become new and move forward with life. See, we have different choices. So you have one who will weaponize their victimhood. You have one who will remain a victim. And you have one who will transition from being a victim to being a victor. See, we have choices and you have to choose, what are you going to do with your pain? What are you going to do with your mistakes? Your mistakes. What are you going to do with everything that you have done and everything that has been done to you? Will it cripple you and leave you stagnant and broken and hurting and lost and confused? Or will it propel you into your purpose? Or will it change you for the worse and make you become a reflection of those who have hurt you? Now, after being abused, do you become the one bringing abuse? Do you use that? And I've seen it in every form. Being a mentor, life coach, whatever you want to call it, dealing with people, interacting with people's pain and their past. I've seen each option being exercised, and I see what it does on the other side, good, bad, and ugly. And so what you have to do, if you've come in contact with this video, you got to make a decision. You have to make a decision from this day forward. How will I move? How will I move forward? And what will I do with my past, with my pain, with my story, with my mistakes? What will I do? And you can't blame someone for being broken. You can't despise someone or judge someone for being broken, because everybody heals at their own pace. Everybody heals in their own way. And you can't take it personal. when you recognize someone weaponizing their victimhood or weaponizing their past pain against you. You can remove yourself politely or forcefully, abruptly, however you need to remove yourself. You can remove yourself. You don't have to become a victim to someone who was a victim to someone else. That's not your place in life. That's not your place to carry the load of another human being who refuses to turn to God. You can remove yourself and call God in to be their everlasting arms, to be their resting place. You don't have to carry that burden, play that role, and lose yourself trying to help someone else find themselves who have no desire to be found or to find themselves. You don't have to play that role, and you will know. And see, this is the thing. Everybody comes to a place in their life where there is a way of escape from the pain, meaning a decision can be made. A decision can be made. You cannot change the past. You can't change the past. But what you can do is affect the future by what you decide in the present. Every single person will be confronted with the opportunity, will come to a crossroads in life where you can decide to grow, to push forward, to inspire others, or you can decide to hold on to the pain, to continue living as a victim, and to use that against other people or to use that in the wrong way. And typically, when conversations like these come about, a lot of people take it the wrong way. And some people will be angered because they feel like you're forcing them to move on from what happened. And instead of seeing it as you're encouraging them to turn pain into purpose. And that's their right. You have to know your heart and where you're operating from. No one has the right to say, get over it, because some things you'll never fully get over. You may be carrying it, but you're carrying it the right way, meaning you're not placing it on the shoulders of others. You're carrying it, and it's making you stronger with every step in that climb. It's making you stronger. It's making you wiser, and you use it to help other people, to make others stronger and wiser. So what you have to realize is, as you interact with the pain and the past of other people, you also have to be mindful of your own story and how you are confronting yourself. And you have to confront yourself. And by confronting yourself, you'll be able to recognize the real from the fake. You'll be able to recognize the victims from the victors. You'll know if this person is still in a season of processing or in understanding and gaining the strength to move forward, or if this person has made a decision. See, some people, we all come to the place where we have to make a decision. And for a lot of people, they will believe that anger serves them. They will believe that resentment serves them. They will believe that holding a grudge serves them. And they will think that by doing those things or holding on to those things, that it empowers them and it helps them get through their day. And they may have to come in contact with your example and to see your smile after everything you've experienced, everything you've seen, everything you've done, and everything that has been done to you, to say, wow, if you can make a decision to get up and not stay down, to no longer be a victim, but to share your story, even if it's with one person or one person at a time, whether it's on a card, in a book, in a video. If you can find the strength to do that, then so can I. Because you're only going to reach so many people, and you can only reach a certain type of person, but I can reach a different group of people and a different type of person. And now together, we are turning our pain into purpose. We're creating a ripple effect that will help every single person we come in contact with adjust their pain, adjust their selves, have a paradigm shift, change the way they view themselves, change the way they view the world around them, and understand that it's not about oppression, it's about opportunity. It's not about obstacles, it's about opportunity. And they will see that and they will start to grow and they'll start to push forward because they saw what you did with your pain. And so understand this. It won't serve you to argue with someone who is broken and hurting. It won't serve you to try to force them into growth. It won't serve you. It'll only make things worse. But what you have to do is seek to understand. And understand that you could have been there or that you were there. And then realize how you got beyond it. And be the example that you want them to see. Be the change that you want them to make. And from your example, not your words, but from your example, from your gift to the world, from the legacy that you're creating, they will see how to transition from being a victim to being a victor. And my hope and my prayer is that everyone can realize that if you have breath in your body, you have a chance. You have a chance to touch a life. You have a chance to change your life. And although it may feel like it's serving you to hold on to all that has happened to you, you can serve the world even greater because of what you have experienced, because of the depths that you have been at in your life. You understand the deepness, the pain. You can feel the heart of other people. You can become an empath so that you can connect and relate and help pull others up, help others escape the trap of remaining a victim. See, it's okay to sit still and to process and to feel. Because if you can't feel, then you can't heal. Even literally speaking, the pain sensors in your body are there to make the brain aware that you've been wounded. So the brain can send aid to that wound. So even literally speaking, pain is a healing agent. So when you can admit that you feel it, then you can begin to heal it. So understand, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to sit there for a moment and to process and to feel. But you can't stay there forever. Because if you stay there forever, you will wither away. It will destroy you. You're going to have to make a decision. Where do I go from here? I have breath in my body. I have opportunity in front of me. Where do I go from here? So sit there and process it. Because on one side, you're going to get messages that say, hey, is it okay for me to stay here in this space of pain and brokenness and confusion and hurt? I'm beginning to feel comfortable here. I'm afraid to go out. I'm afraid to move forward. I'm afraid to hope again, because what if the same thing happens? Is it okay if I just stay here and just continue to hurt? You'll hear that. But then on the other side, you're going to hear, is it okay for me to forgive? Is it okay for me to get up? Is it okay for me to turn this pain into purpose? Is it okay to use my story for God's glory? Is it okay to share a testimony from my test? Is it okay? And that's where you are standing in front of the fork in the road, where you get to make a decision. Do you weaponize your victimhood against yourself or against others? Or do you empower yourself to go from pain to purpose, to go from a mess to a message, to go from a test to a testimony? What do you do? And that's up to you. And what you're going to notice, you'll see how others are dealing with their issues, with their past, and with their pain. You'll see it based on how they treat you, how they talk to you, what they hear when you say something from a place of love. If you are speaking from love, but yet they return hate, vitriol, anger, bitterness, now you know where they are in their growth. Now you know what they're dealing with. Seek to understand. Don't get angry. Don't lash out. Don't try to force them to grow and change. Just understand. Speak love. Speak life. Speak truth. And move on if it's going to tear you down, bring you back, turn you back into the person that you once were, force you to relapse, make you relapse and go backwards. If that's what it's going to do, keep it moving and say, Lord, send aid to this wounded heart. Send aid, Lord. You the head, you the brain, you the control center. Send aid to this wounded heart, because Lord, I'm not fully there yet to be able to help someone who doesn't want help, because I'm still trying to help myself. The plane was going down and I had to put the mask on myself first. So Lord, hey, I need some reinforcements. They're going to need somebody else, because I won't be able to sit in that place with them. I'm not there yet. I ain't strong enough yet. So you got to understand where you are and make sure that you don't stoop. Make sure that you don't go backwards. Make sure that you keep your mindset and you keep pressing, and understand that those who you are for, you will be for. And those who you are not for and they're not in that place, they're not ready to be pulled up. See, a person comes to a place to where they want to stretch out their hand and they want help. But some people, they're in a place they want to keep their hand folded and they just want to shrink. They just want to stay there because they're getting comfortable there, because they fear the unknown. They fear the light. They fear the other side. They fear getting up because they're afraid they might get knocked back down. So they just want to stay there. You got to understand where you are, understand where they are, and pray for the wisdom, the discretion, and the strength to make the decisions and the choices and the moves you need to make. Hey, this is Tony Gaston. Don't want to be before you too long. God bless you on this here Sunday sermon. What you notice about the Sunday sermon is no ads on here. So I don't let them put ads on the videos on Sunday, because I don't want, they put all kind of advertisements, and I want the message to be clear, and don't want something against the message to be running in between it, because you know how that works. But hey, thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you. We'll talk soon.